Welcome to Breaking Barriers. You know your path. We know the obstacles. And we can teach you how to tear them down. And now your host, CEO and founder of Adapting Social, John Vigero.
Guys, welcome to Breaking Barriers. Today is an exciting one. So with me, I have Olivia with Off With There, and AKA the Queen of Commodity, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm excited about is the story and the journey, obviously, you know, behind the brand and how you got started at this passion project. But for people who don't know, is it fair to say the Queen of Staten Island?
Oh my gosh, no.
So for people like, who the hell is Olivia? Quick high level.
I guess I am from Staten Island. I am the owner of Off With Air, and I work in sales for Commodity. So I guess that's high level me.
Yeah. So also, quick fun fact. I think it was you, right? You or Dylan or Mike know Pete Davidson's somebody.
Oh, her sister?
Yes.
Oh yeah, not like us.
For all the fans out there that
yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
got her into the Kardashians or whatever.
Yeah, I could say we have some
Mutual friends or whatever.
Friends. Yeah, she's
So-
a very nice girl.
So okay, cool. So first and foremost, so Off With There, right? So what's cool? I actually really love the brand. I love that this kind of stemmed out, like the idea and like the vibe of it. You know, your grandma. Talk about her 60-year card game.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay.
talk about this for me.
So Nancy Correale grew up in Little Italy, New York,
Right.
New York.
Nancy,
so she started her card game with her group of friends, who some of which are still alive, Thursday nights or Wednesday nights, and they called it Club. So Club would meet.
First of all, I love Wednesday nights.
Right? Yeah.
Megan knows that. Wednesday nights.
the
It's
boat.
a great night.
Yeah.
It's a great night.
So she.
I love Nance already.
Nancy's great. So I believe they started in their teens, like late teens, and they would get together. All different games. 31 was like the biggest card game, and they rotated at different people's houses. Then they started like getting married, having kids. Sometimes husbands would come, but mostly it was just like a group of girls.
I fucking love this.
Right? And they had this card game, like literally, my grandmother passed away 3 or 4 years ago, like up until then, and I think they still meet now.
Wow.
So it was like a group of women like hanging out together like through all stages of life, and they're still there for each other. So
And that's
it's just
so epic.
Cool, yeah.
That is so cool. And wait, did they play for money or just for fun?
They play for money. And that card I gave you, that
Yes, ace.
that's one of hers.
No!
So I have.
I can't take it now?
Everyone gets them. So it's a huge thing with Off With There. When you order from me, I have, when I moved into her house, like a box like this big filled with all her extra playing cards.
Wow.
So whenever you order, I write a handwritten thank you note on that card.
That's so cool.
We keep it like
Wow.
alive that way.
So you got to obviously eventually keep one whole deck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But another thing about Nancy, which makes sense, because some people are like, "Oh, your pictures are scandalous. It's a grandmother's brand." Can you curse on this podcast?
Fuck yeah.
She dropped fuck was basically my first word because of her. She was just like
That's going to be my kid's first word
crazy.
too.
Yeah, like that was her vibe. Put it this way, like her last ride out of the house in an ambulance, she was double middle fingering her neighbor.
No.
That was how she went out. So she just is that
So she's a fucking legend.
Fiery.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so F-bomb, big thing for her.
F-bomb, she took the horn out of her car and just would use her finger to do things like that. So very crazy, yes. Wild
So
woman.
this is going to be me. I can't play cards well. I could play CeeLo though.
You gotta learn. Oh, dice is good too.
Dice is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cards 31 is it's tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it's good. Like I have all of their notebooks still saved.
Do you really with the scores and shit?
Yeah.
So was
that's
Nance racking it in?
She was pretty good, yeah. Yeah, they went to AC all the time. They loved like cards, gambling, all that stuff.
So for Staten Island, if you're up there, you're still going to Atlantic City. There's nothing closer for you guys in upstate or something?
Mount Airy and PA, and I think once that got big, she kind of was a little too old for that type of stuff, but yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So number one, love it. So the brand obviously like and incorporating that with like obviously the aces and like and the queen, right?
Yeah.
So like I think it's important. Can you share the tattoo story? I think that's
Sure.
badass.
So I have a Queen of Hearts tattoo on my wrist. So actually, my grandma was in the hospital. I think at that point they decided to put her on like hospice, but she was like, "I'm done. I'm out. Great life.
Right.
Things were good." I'm like, "Please don't tell me this right now."
Wow.
So she always wanted a tattoo on her wrist, but obviously she was on like blood thinners, other things, and you shouldn't really get a tattoo at that age.
Right.
So I told her I would get it. She actually originally wanted it on my middle finger. But I'm in sales. I feel like that might be a little weird.
Tough, yeah.
So I waited a while. I waited like 6 months or 7 months until I felt like, okay, I definitely want this tattoo. I'll get it. And then I got the Queen of Hearts on my wrist. And I got it actually, I moved into her house after she passed away.
Okay.
So I got it while I was living there. So I thought that
Wow.
was like pretty cool. And then I always have it on my wrist. So it's like, you know, you're always using your hands, and it's like a fun conversation piece. Because my favorite thing is someone's always like, "Where's the king?" And I'm like, "I don't have. This is it.
Right.
Like, I'm just the queen.
That's it.
That's it.
I like it.
Yeah. Point blank."
And so I love that. But so, question.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've only met one other person, which was my wife's grandfather, where he had cancer on his like last, like, let's call it like, when he first got diagnosed, he was like in his 80s, and he was like telling everybody the same thing, like, "Oh, I'm good to go, live a good life. I'm ready to go. I'm out, like whatever, no problem, ready to die."
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot packed into that, because most people fear the fuck out of death.
Yeah. No, she was.
It's super scary,
She didn't.
right? What do you think? Like how can you unpack that a little bit? Like, did she ever kind of give you like, how do you get to that mindset, right?
It's like partially dark and partially like good. So dark part. She lost her daughter, my aunt, maybe 4 years prior.
Right.
Then my grandfather passed away like less than a year after that.
Okay.
So she's experienced a lot of loss, and her parents passed away when she was very young.
Ah.
So she had like a lot of loss, but with that loss, she had a lot of love too.
Totally.
So I think she was like, she got to see me and my sister grow up, my little cousin grow up.
Right.
And like, I think she was happy where everyone was at, and I think she was just like, enough sadness, like I don't want to see anything else bad happen, and I think she was just like pleased but also sad, and was excited to see afterlife and possibly, you know, wherever that
Go
led
see her family and stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it was like, you know, she like was more, she wasn't like super Catholic or anything like that. She was just more spiritual. Like she was like, you know, prancing in her garden, doing whatever she was doing out there. So I think she was just more like, it's done, check mark, I feel good about this stuff, on your way. Yeah.
Wow, that's such a great mindset, and you obviously have to live a great life, but also have the, all right, next step in my life, like after my life, right?
Very
I'm
stoic,
gonna go see,
yeah,
I'm gonna go
it's
see
hard.
my family and whoever else. Like, it's badass. It's not easy to have, especially we're young, right? So it's hard to embody that.
Yeah,
but,
it's very crazy.
So secondly, are you in that house alone?
So I moved out a year, maybe more than a year ago. I moved out last April. I lived in that house alone for like over a year.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's
So
good.
so my question being, so now what most people on this podcast are like, did you see anything? Like, was it like spirits or ghosts, or do you believe in that or whatever?
There was like some, not that I don't believe in it, but like weird things. She had these hair clips that like, she loved like sparkly things, like she's a very razzle dazzle type of lady. So she had these little like butterfly hair clips, and I would find them everywhere, like up until I moved out. And I'd be like, I clean these up. So it was
And
just
they came
like,
back out.
Yeah, so that was
Okay,
like
so
the
a
only
little
weird,
subtle,
little
like,
hints.
okay.
And then another huge thing was her garden. So she had like a crazy green thumb. Like, I'm talking, you bring her dead things and they come back to life type of garden. And my first like summer there, just like watching the garden come to life was so cool, and all these roses, because it was just like, she's not here anymore, but like look what she left.
But that was
me.
her creation.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that was cool. So nothing like too spiritual, but that was definitely a thing.
That's amazing though.
Yeah.
And so to see that now, I'm in the process right now, like me and my wife Jacqueline, we've never had a green thumb ever.
So hard.
It's so hard, right?
Yeah.
And so anytime, but I'm crazy with my landscaping. Like I have to have the greenest grass, like all that stuff. My dad's Portuguese, and his obviously family they're all big, like that we grow tomatoes, cucumbers,
nice.
peppers. Like my dad's garden is like probably like 3 of these tables going this way, right?
You didn't inherit the green thumb?
No, like that's the thing, right? So finally one day, like I go and I'm at like one of those like garden centers or whatever, and I'm like, all right, I'm buying these flowers, planting all these fucking bitches, but like, how do I keep them alive? Because I can't keep them alive. And the gardener that was there goes, so obviously you have to water them. Sometimes it gets really hot, so do it twice a day, which I've never done twice a day.
Oh yeah.
And then secondly, he was like, also when you see stems and things starting to die, you're supposed to peel them off because sometimes they could kill the whole plant.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. So I'm like, that's a lot of picking. So that's why when you see people who are super into like gardening, Like that's like they're doing that shit for hours.
It's a long time.
They're doing shit for hours, and I only I have like right now, which I'm proud of myself. I had them for like 3 months now. And they're all still alive.
Hardcore. It was so hot the past week. I don't know how they survived.
Those things are drinking more water than I am.
Yeah, morning and night.
Yeah. So anyway, it's cool to see something like that has a crazy extravagant garden and all the other stuff. So a lot of patience. Now let's go back to Off With there.
Yeah.
So what is the inspiration behind the design and vibe, and like how did you come up with it?
So I was at that time looking for a specific type of beanie. So at first I wanted a tie-dye beanie and I couldn't find a cute one on the market. And that was like pandemic, everyone was doing tie-dye. So I'm like, let me see if I can make one. Flopped. Ordered a bunch from wholesale, tried it, they looked like shit. I'm like, oh, fuck, all right, guess we're going to plan B.
Right.
So plan B, I am super simple with clothing in terms of like, just I like really nice leather and basic stuff like that. Like nothing crazy with giant like writing over. So then I started outsourcing and like looking into people who work with leather and how I can get leather and put it on a beanie and just do like a small little tab. So I started looking into that. I would go on like Pinterest like pretty much every single day for hours and try to like grow some inspiration from different brands. I've always been like a huge motorcycle leather type of girl. I like that stuff. Like I grew up on the back of a bike. So I definitely...
Do you also ride them?
I am not good, and I think...
So you're on the back?
Yeah, I'm on the back. I love the back.
Got it.
Nothing to do with it. And then, so I pulled a lot of stuff from like motorcycle brands. All Saints was a big inspiration as well, that company. Like just like rugged vibe.
Yep.
And then I'm also rugged myself too.
Yeah.
I have like an aggressive undertone, even though I'm very nice. But I wanted something that was like I wanted to take this basic beanie and make it like sexy and cool, and you'd be like, whoa, this is so cool, because there's a million different beanies. Like it's very competitive. So that's where my best friend Anna came in, who's a photographer, and my boyfriend's motorcycle. And no joke, I called her and I said, I have this idea, like I want to incorporate Queen of Hearts and playing cards and motorcycles and leather, and she was like, let's do it. So we like pull a motorcycle up my parents' block behind this like alley, and like I have this perfect spot, so I like scoped out this like area. I'm like, I'm gonna get topless on this motorcycle with the beanie on, and they were like, all right, do it. So I did it tastefully, obviously, but I'm like, there's only like, I need to like shock value this, and it needs to be like something like loud, and I just made sure all the photos are like super up close and like grungy, and it just, that was like how I launched it. And another thing which was so important to me is I didn't want anyone to know it was my company. And I didn't want anyone to know it was me.
Right.
Because I wanted you to buy the product because you liked it and you thought my marketing was cool, not because you knew me, or I didn't want you to like not buy it because you knew it was me because you didn't like me.
Right.
So I tried for like the first 6 months to keep my face out of everything. Like I didn't have my own social media at the time. Like I really wanted it to be.
Olivia was going dork.
Yeah. So I wanted no one to really know me or just affiliate me with the brand.
Right.
And then that was the entire vibe behind it. And now it's just pretty, like in my bio, I have like rugged and unapologetic. And it's like in the write-up, I write, it's almost like your beanie's like your crown, or like kind of your, you could just like put it on and feel like confident. You feel like a little bit more confident. It ups the outfit and just adds that little extra bonus.
Right.
And then I had to translate, obviously, to summer with bucket hats and this and that.
I love that. Now, has it been shown to be difficult for, like, you, like, with sourcing the fabrics, right? And, like, getting the right things, the right like, person to actually, like, embroider or blah, blah, blah. Like, what has been the most complicated part of all this?
So, not having the funds to do what I know I can do is the most expensive, because my biggest thing is I do not want anyone to give me money for this. I want to do this all on my own.
Love that.
Yeah, so
love that.
Don't want, like, because I don't want anyone's control. I'm obviously a control freak too, but that has been the most challenging thing. Just like with the funds I do have, like say I make, sell like 30 beanies, that profit, I have to figure out what I can do with that profit to make the next product even cooler with like, a small amount. So finding very small niche embroiderers was very hard, honestly. And the hardest thing was people taking me seriously. A lot of these like vendors or people I'd meet with would be like, yeah, they like wouldn't even meet with me, and I'd have to basically be like, sit down, I know what I'm doing, look at my business plan, talk to me. Like I promise I'll deliver, but like you need to take me seriously for 5 minutes. So that was by far the hardest thing. Money and having people take me seriously.
The casholas.
Yeah.
So have you ever thought of drop shipping?
It's just a really big buy-in. And this I have a lot of, my big thing is when I first started, like I would get hundreds of posts and reshares of people opening their package from me because I write the handshake, like
You
written
do,
note.
right.
And it's like for me, the package
Right.
is so important because you're getting this, like you're getting a playing card, you're getting a business card, you're getting like stickers. And if I know you, if I know something like about you, I'll give you a card that has like your favorite number or something like that. So it's super intentional, and that's like something maybe down the line, but right now, no.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people who have done drop ship, right?
Yeah.
But they technically what they do, because what drop shipping enables is you not to have to hold inventory,
Yep.
as you know, but they would drop ship it to their house, and then they would take the package and then they would custom it. So that means that you don't have to hold the inventory. You're shipping it to yourself. You're the address,
Yeah.
and then blah blah blah. So just a thought, but
That's a thought. Yeah, definitely.
you know.
For sure.
So where do you see off with there in the next, let's call it 3 to 5 years?
I would absolutely love for it to continue to grow with some stores. So that's like been the pretty cool part, getting into some boutiques and stuff. And I think ultimately for it to turn into a podcast would be the coolest thing, because it's a very cool community of like, it's more heavy women now.
Right.
Those long sleeve shirts that came out, all the men are buying, but right now it's a lot of like women owned and stuff like that. And if there's anything Nancy taught
I love
me,
that baggy look with with that shit.
it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
love
nice,
it. Love
like
it.
beachy vibe.
Totally.
But I think the having like inspirational people and to talk to them about their businesses and how like they grow and this and that. So like it's a really cool community. It's small. It's like only 1,000 followers, but it's so interactive. So somehow if I could translate that into like talking to people, that'd be great. And then recently I did a beer launch, and we had like a big pop-up event, and that was so cool. So like if I could do like launches like that and stuff like that.
Almost like a launch party, or
Yeah, it was like a Valentine's Day launch party, and there was a great turnout with another company, Kill Van Cole, and a beer place on Staten Island that was phenomenal called Flagship. And we all just like created such a cool event. So if I could do stuff like that, that'd be great.
So no, if it's a matter of
when. Yeah.
When.
Yeah.
So I like that. So all right. So before we get into the close to the last part,
Okay.
right? We got to do a little Commodity shot first.
Yes.
You know the deal. We got the
Yes.
Queen of Commodity here. It's only right.
Yeah, only right. Right of
You know, it's
passage.
only right. So
Right
we'll
of
do you
passage.
first.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you're so used to always doing the Commodity shots. You're out there in the field, so I'll give you a baby one.
Thank you.
I'll
so
spare
much.
you. By the way,
Appreciate
were you
it.
drinking wine last night?
No, my lips.
Yeah.
No, I just have fucking sunburnt lips.
Do you?
believe that? Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my God, because
Yeah.
when my wife drinks wine, she gets the wine lips. It looks like that.
Mom, do you hear this? It's sunburn. She
Ah.
literally says it. She tries to be like, "Oh, you were drinking." I'm like, "No, it's sunburn." Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
we're going. So the next parter is
Yes.
going to be a tough one.
Oh yeah, we got this. It's so good.
It's insane. The shit's cracked.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, it's my second shot today. We had one during a meeting.
They were telling me.
So today feels like a fucking Friday. I don't know why.
It's a long week.
It literally. I don't know. It might just be because it's nice and sunny out.
It's
Everybody's
month
been.
end,
I don't
too.
know.
I'm like, can we just end?
You know what it is?
Yeah.
It's the end of the month. Maybe
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
I don't know. But okay. So 2 questions.
Okay.
One's a tough one,
I'm nervous.
and one's semi-tough.
Okay.
So you want the hard one or the harder one first?
Give me the hardest one first.
Not one person has ever chose the easy route first.
No.
So this is, I love it, consistency.
Yeah.
Okay, so most people, right, navigate through thinking of like where they want to be based on where they are today, right? So for instance, if you're planning your future and you're like, here's my goals over the next blah, 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 right? If you're thinking long term too. A lot of times you're thinking, okay, here's where I am today, here's who I want to be, I want to do this eventually, blah, 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 right? A lot of us plan from our feet, where they are today, to where we want to be. So this question is going to be reverse engineering that,
Okay.
right? And it's going to be about legacy,
Okay.
right? So typically, you know, when you think of legacy and what's one thing that's going to be on this planet that will outlive you, everybody you know, and only your ancestors in the future will be able to see, what's that other than your gravestone? So if you were to write that today, knowing who you want to become, right, what would that say on there? So, you know, you see things like loving mother, loving blah, 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 like, you know, whatever. Like, what would yours read? And then we'll go back to what Megan's was.
This is hard. Okay. I'm trying to think. this is really hard. I like the loving part a lot. So something like that. I don't know what I would say.
You got this.
I would say I have magnetic, loving mother. I would say that.
Magnetic?
Yeah.
Loving mother. So what does that mean, magnetic?
I heard someone describe someone as magnetic. I'm like, I want to be that. And they were just saying that it's like you walk into a room and you just gravitate towards that person, or they make you feel like safe, or they you just like want to be around them. And I feel like that's cool. And then loving is definitely definitely my biggest characteristics. And mom, I want to be a mom.
Boom, you did it.
Yeah, did it. That was awesome.
It wasn't too bad, right?
No, it wasn't bad.
All right, we made it. We did.
Yeah.
So last one is there any quote, adage over the years you've seen that when you think of like struggle, it could be a Nancy original, it could be an Olivia original, it could be your mother or dad original, whoever. Like, is there one that stands out to you that you saw over there that you love? It's like a quote, adage, whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to get it tattooed on me next week, actually.
Live, laugh, love.
Memento mori.
Oh, what does that mean?
Are you familiar with Stoicism?
I am.
All?
Yeah.
So it's basically like you're going to die. That's what it means. Like it translates. So you're going to die. So with that saying, like you're going to die. Why do you care that someone just cut you off in traffic? You're going to die. Like why aren't you celebrating this person's birthday? Because you don't want to go out. You're going to be tired for work tomorrow. So it's like live in the moment. It's like a nicer YOLO.
Wow.
Yes. So like you have to accept that your death, like my grandmother, like she was saying, accept that you are going to die and do the best that you can with the time that you have, basically.
Fucking boom.
Yeah.
I need to bring back the air horns again.
Mic
That was great. Fucking mic drop, boom. Okay, that's amazing.
Yes.
First off, thank you.
Thank you.
You are
This is
amazing.
awesome.
I am a big believer in time as the one asset we don't get back,
Yes.
right? Speaking of death. So thank you for spending it with us here today and our
course,
listeners.
thank you so
I think you
much.
dropped a lot of great knowledge. Where can people find you? So website, social,
Oh, let me
so on
pimp
and so forth.
myself out.
Pimp it out.
Offwiththeir.com is like where you can shop everything. My Instagram is @offwiththeir_ at the end.
Yep.
You could also buy through there, and it is available right now. I think I'm sold out of all the boutiques I was in.
Let's go.
Unless you're in Colorado and Breckenridge, there's a couple boutiques that have me there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Now, how long does it take to ship? Generally?
Usually 3 to 4 days, unless
Okay.
you order on a Friday, and then it goes out on a Monday. It might take a little bit longer, obviously, because I don't ship on the weekends.
Got it. Okay.
3 days ship.
You heard it here first. Go
the-
follow Off With Air, and then you're back on the gram.
I know.
Olivia broke the internet. She's back on Instagram.
Back on Instagram.
Everybody watch yourselves.
I know.
And
I came back.
one thing I wanted to ask you, right? I think this is a great question, actually.
Okay.
So now you mentioned having that topless picture,
Yes.
right? So your boyfriend didn't give a shit about that?
Well, he was the one on the bike.
Oh.
Sitting on his lap. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And it also was my back. I wasn't like I wasn't topless forward facing.
Right.
So it was my back.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And no, he's very supportive. He's like, do you? Like, as long as it's like artistic and it's not crazy. I just did a photo shoot last night too, so those should be wild coming out.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I always like that type of shit's very edgy. I always like to ask that question only because like a lot of times you get like the feelings and the emotions from partners and
Oh, yeah.
whoever else and whatever. So it's just super interesting to always ask that question of like, you know, when you're doing that, you get shit, or whatever.
No, there's very little I do that I will get shit from him.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's super supportive with that stuff.
That's so important to
Yeah.
have the right person by your
Oh
side
my
for that.
God, he definitely is a huge like asset in the business being where it is today, because he was like with me day one, driving packages around Staten Island, dropping things off. Like he was like didn't even question me. Whereas it was
that's
a
what you need.
pandemic, where it's like, do you really want to start a business right now? And he's like, yeah, go for it. Like there was not even a question. So
I love
he's
that.
been very supportive.
Listen, I've been in relationships where wasn't supported, and it's like, damn, you're getting held back.
Yeah.
And then when you're with somebody who's like that boom, like what do you got to go do? Like I almost think of, you know that fucking movie, The Town.
Oh, whose
Where,
car are we taking?
yes, how fucking like that literally just reminded me of that. It's like,
Yep.
okay, I'm gonna go beat somebody up. You know,
That's
you can't ask
pretty
me
much
any
him.
questions.
Yeah.
You can't blah blah. And he goes, whose car are we taking?
Yep.
Like literally, that's what you need is your ride or die.
He's pretty. That's our relationship pretty
love
much
that.
at this point.
Love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so
Yeah.
happy to hear that for you, though. That's
Thank
amazing.
You.
You
Thank
deserve
you.
that.
Thank you very much.
But again, guys, Olivia, Queen of Commodity,
Yes.
Queen of Off With There. Shout out and R.I.P. Rest in peace to Nancy, a legend.
Yes, Nancy.
Now, are her friends still alive?
Some.
You got to pick up the card game.
Yeah, I know.
Get in there.
Yeah, we like my friends and I do game nights a lot, and we do play cards a lot. So we're definitely like slowly evolving. Yeah.
Okay, let's
coming
go.
around. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Right.
So, all right, everybody's gonna give a follow, give Olivia a shout, and go to the website offwithair.com.
If you listen, I'll drop a promo code.
Promo code.
If at discount for 25% off. OWT 22. 25% off.
Boom.
There you go.
I like it.
Yeah. All right.
You're the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, of course. Thank you.
That was awesome.